mindset, honestly, my favorite part of sharing on social media and YouTube videos. This is one of my favorite quotes. I forgot where I found it, but if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. And I think that is just one of the most truest things that I've ever heard and read, because the longer that you can think about something, a goal of yours, and if you do not stop and you continue having this thought in your mind, that burning thought that won't go away, eventually, if you keep working for it, it will become true. It will come to fruition. I don't like using the word come because it kind of implies that things will just happen to you. But I truly believe that if you have a dedicated mindset to whatever it is, it happens. Like I said, I am in the middle of adding participants that are coming in. Hello, newbies. You kind of missed a little bit, but it's okay. We still have a little bit longer to go. All right. So kind of jumping into this goal/mindset, me getting to this point, and I still have so much longer to go, so many other things to learn. I didn't know that I was manifesting or saying mantras to myself. I didn't know any of that. I just knew that I woke up every day knowing that I had some type of goal for the day, goal for my life, and goal for the future. And there was days I'd wake up and be like, you're going to be a CRNA. Nursing's stinky right now. It sucks, but it's going to get better. Or when I was in college, there would be days where I would cry after clinical or cry after soccer practice and just have the worst day. But I'd be like, you know what? This is for CRNA school, or this is for me to graduate. And let me not forget CRNA school that I just graduated from. That was something that was so challenging for a multitude of reasons. But there was days where I was just like, I cannot do this. This person is driving me nuts. This faculty member is racist. Like, there was just days where I did not know if I was going to make it through, but I did. So whatever word you use, fancy or not, true goal setting is something that everyone should be doing. If you're writing it down, if you're recording it on your phone in a voice memo, whatever it is. Again, in a different workshop, I really would like to dig further into specific goal setting and making sure that everyone has manageable, measurable goals in place. Goals do not always need to be shared, especially in nursing. I urge those and people who are in CRNA school or in ICUs, you can leave a comment below or a question and let me know if I'm off base. But other nurses don't always have your best interests at heart. It could be jealousy, cattiness, whatever the reason is. Sometimes they're just not really there for you. And it can be a culture where you don't want to share your wins. So you don't always need to share that you want to go to CRNA school or you want to go to NP school, whatever it is. And then giving yourself steps is also very important. So you kind of want to think of your end goal, whatever it is. Let's say it is CRNA school, right? So you have your end goal here. I highly suggest, or right now, I don't know if you have a pen and paper near you, writing down a goal that is just burning in your brain that you just cannot stop thinking about. I want you guys to write it down. I'll give you a few moments. Or type it in your computer. Just make sure you're on mute. All right, so you have this one goal in mind, and then I want you to, underneath that, think of 3 to 4 things that are absolute requirements for you to reach this goal. So for CRNA school, when I made my list, it was CRNA school, then it was ICU experience, it was GRE and CCRN. For those who do not know, that's a graduate record examination. Doesn't make sense to me, but that's a requirement for a lot of schools. And then it was the certified critical care registered nurse. Certified? I don't remember. But it is a certification for critical care nurses it's not active for me right now because I'm a CRNA. But that was step number 2. Let's see what else. Getting letter of recommendations, that was an actionable step for me. And applying for scholarship with health professions through the Air Force, that was number 4. So you have your list, and then you take a step back. You work from the end and you go backward. So ICU experience. What are some steps for you to get your ICU experience? It's finding ICU. Well, do you have the phone number or contact to a recruiter? Have you updated your resume? So the further you go back, you continue to create actionable steps for yourself. And you do that for each of those steps. And you make it a checklist, something that you can check off and see progress, right? And then writing them down, like I said, a little checklist, and then seeking help. For me, when I started, I did not know any CRNAs personally. I did not have a mentor when I started. I went to the internet and I went to YouTube to find people, and I just didn't see anything. And so that is where I started Instagram. That is where I started YouTube. And again, my purpose for this is that I could either help you myself or find somebody that can help you. It doesn't have to be me. Things have to align. We have to align with one another. So if there's something here that I'm talking about that you are interested in speaking with me further, I'll give you my contact information after this. Please shoot me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But again, I just want to be a resource to everyone and opening up networks for people and expanding my network, because you guys can also help me. And then planting and replanting yourself. For those of you who have plants and plant babies, or babies of your own, I do not, so we'll stick to plants. When you're growing something, herbs or whatever, you are in the beginning trying to figure out where your plant belongs. Does it belong in the windowsill? Does it belong in a little mini greenhouse? Does it belong away from the window? Is there a certain water, a certain soil, certain fertilizer that it needs? Do you need to play music for the freaking plants? So you need to think of yourself as a plant in your environment. Is your friend group supportive? Is your unit something that is allowing you to grow and get the experiences that you need? Your family, are they supporting you? Is the state that you live in sunny enough for your personality? Things like that. Do you need to replant yourself, repot yourself? And kind of going into the next line, but it merges. I have this rule of thumb with people that I mentor and just people that connect with me on social media. When you tell somebody any type of plan, like, oh, I plan to paint my nails, or I plan to go to CRNA school, if their first response to you is not, oh, that's a great idea, or please share more, or tell me how you're going to do that. If that is not the response or the vibe that you're getting from someone, stop talking. Because oftentimes, especially what I was met with was, oh, you want to go to CRNA school? You just started here in ICU. Or I tried to apply and I got rejected 3 times. Ignore it, because those responses are it's projection. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making is believing the naysayers and the negativity. I've heard so many people say, I didn't apply because so-and-so did and they didn't get in. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous. People listen to, or I'll take it a step further. There's a lot of people who have a lot to say about things that they've never done. If you're working on an ICU unit, and leave a comment also to the side if you heard this, if you're in CRNA school, a lot of people saying CRNA school is the worst thing that you'll ever do. The nurses my computer's dying, or the ICU nurses will eat their young. You'll never be able to finish school. Sorry, y'all. Here we go. Just a lot of negativity and not even know what they're talking about. Or I heard this, or my friend said this. If they're not a CRNA, they really have no business sharing anything about CRNA school or the life, if it's boring or not. You need to ask the source. And I would bet a lot of money in my bank account that you will not meet a CRNA that doesn't like their job. Not just because it's lucrative, but just because it's an amazing job. You get to help people, and you have one patient at a time, and you get to flex your knowledge and use your brain a lot. And you work with a team, which is what I love. But then you also are alone behind the drapes. So shadow, figure out what you want, and don't listen to negative, small-minded people who may just not have the courage to do CRNA school. All right. So contact information. Here's my email address. It's also found on my Instagram. Mobile number. If I'm working with you and we're figuring out some type of mentorship, you'll definitely have my phone number. But until then, no. And then my website is here. Still going to be making some tweaks to it to get up the mentorship / coaching. I don't know what it's going to be called yet. But again, I just really want to be able to get out there and give as much as possible. All right, so let's do my favorite part, which is answering questions. I'm going to start with the chat, and then I don't see the Q&A on here yet, but I think I'll see. Let me stop sharing first of all. There we go. And if you guys want and you feel like after I answer these questions, you want to just pop in and say hi and ask your question on your own, I would love that as well, okay? How many questions we got? Oh, all right, so you guys are answering, and I'll just read them out loud. Oops. Last semester nursing student, this you guys were telling me about where you are. Okay, first question, are the UVA glasses only for people who already wear glasses? No, these are actually non-prescription. And thank you. Let's see, your views look nice. Very cute. I'm 5'11", so I don't think I would fit in a tiny home. False. False, false, false. These ceilings are way taller than that. I'm 5'9". 120 square feet, so you live in a tiny home already, Haley. Awesome. So Portland's about to do their things for healthcare workers, things for all of you all. Let's see. You guys are funny. Everyone will not root for you. You have to root for yourself. Absolutely. People are sometimes insecure and jealous that you're brave enough to do what they are not. Absolutely. CSE and GRE this summer. Congratulations, Jacqueline. I did not do the CSE. And for those who do not know, again, I don't know what it stands for, but it's another certification that you can get on top of your CCRN. It shows a lot for you. And I'll kind of touch on this. I get a lot of questions about applications and how to set yourself apart. You can do that through certifications, but I think you also need to do that by uniqueness. I have another rule of thumb when dealing with people's applications. I should not be able to grab your specific personal statement and turn it in as my own. That means it's not unique enough. Imagine if you are on faculty and you're sitting reading applications all day or reading them online, and you don't have your blue light glasses, so your eyes are already tired, right? And you're seeing, oh, 4.0. I love the autonomy of CRNA school. This is great. I just want to use science. Can you imagine how many times you see that? CCRN, GRE. It gets old, right? So you need to show them why you will be a good person to admit into their program, because you're not just being interviewed for your qualifications. You need to know if you fit on a team that doesn't even exist yet. So can you fit into an operating room team? Can you get along with surgeons, scrub nurses, your anesthesia techs? Can you manage a room full of anxiety when it's just hitting the fan? Can you stand up over the drapes and say, whatever you're doing surgery right now, you need to cut it out because my patient's not liking it? They need to know that you can handle clinical, class, tests, your DMP project, traveling. They need to know that the person that they're admitting can handle that, learn from failures, because you will fail in anesthesia school. You may fail your first test. They need to know how you bounce back from that. So that is what you show on your application and in your personal statement. Can you say, I'm humbly confident that I can make it through CRNA school? That's the intent of your application. Someone said, I heard every one of those. I know what you're talking about. People talking negatively about your plans. What did I use to study for the CCRN? So I used the Princeton Review book. And if you find my Amazon page, it's actually on a link through my Instagram, and it's on my website as well. You can see what I used to prep for, Princeton Review was for the GRE. For the CCRN, I used the past CCRN, and I just did the questions. And I also listened to the Largus Barris CDs. And so I would listen to a section of those and then to do a bunch of questions. And I did that repetitively until I finished all of the CDs and did all of the questions and just kept on doing them over and over and over again. So that's how I passed the CCRM. Could you dive further into HPSP process? Absolutely. And this is definitely going to be a workshop in the future. So when I started applying to CRNA school, I was also applying to the HPSP program. So you contact a health professions recruiter. I did the Air Force. There's other HPSP programs, but I chose the Air Force for a few reasons. So when you do that, they'll tell you, like, this is how we can get your packet together. And your packet is it has a lot of the same things that your anesthesia packet has. So like your resume, letter of recommendation. So that's why I suggest doing it at the same time, so that you can send all of that and have the people that are writing your recommendations do the same thing for your Air Force HPSP application. So you're getting your medical records, you're getting recommendations and all of that stuff, right? So you cannot submit your packet to the selection board until you're actually accepted to a CRNA school, because you are a civilian first. You're a civilian and you get into a civilian school, then you are applying to the Air Force for them to pay for your tuition upfront, which is your tuition, your books, your insurance, living expenses. You get about $2,200 a month in living expenses from the Air Force. And so you're asking them to pay for that. And then when you accept and you're selected, you become a reservist. So you're a reservist the entire time that you're in school. Now, you do not go to drill. That doesn't exist. I didn't own a military uniform. I did not know how to salute until I went to officer school. So your only job is to be a student and to pass. And so once you graduate, you now owe the Air Force, or whichever branch you do, you owe them back active duty time. For the Air Force, it's year for year. So I owe 3 years. I've started my commitment when I came here. And so that's the general gist of it. Was it difficult to transition from work life to school? I don't think so for me, because I was ready to go, and I didn't wait that long to go from my BSN to CRNA school. I was ready. I think there is a point when you need to figure out how you learn best. And that's just with everything. How do you absorb information? How do you respond to people best? How do people respond best to you? It's all about learning and growing and figuring those things out. And this may sound kind of weird. I don't categorize things as, difficult or hard. I think some things have more steps or require a little bit more work, but I don't like to categorize things like that. From Caitlin, I've applied twice already and have been waitlisted twice. Looking to apply again, that's the spirit, but have had to drop almost all of my extras due to serious health issue. Generally, how would you approach this? So whatever your health issue is, that is something that will be able to be seen in your application process. That's something that you can talk about in your application process. Everything that you do, if you raise children, and you grow plants, or you like to run, every single thing that you do can be used to show your uniqueness and show why you can apply that to being a good student. It just you have to realize and find the greatness in it. How's your schedule like at work? I have an awesome schedule, especially right now during COVID. So right now we work in teams. So there's 3 teams. And if your team is on, you cover the week. And then after your week, you go on quarantine for 2 weeks. So just in case you're exposed to something, you have 2 weeks that you are off in quarantine. But typically in the Air Force, for me, I work Monday through Friday, start at 6:30. And once cases are done, which typically happens to be like 1 or 2, you go home, you go PT, physical training, and then you're done. But outside the military, it varies. It's just like nursing. You can do 312s, you can do 410s, you can work part-time. It just depends on where you are. What do you believe set you apart from the other applicants while applying to CRNA school? So I think that I understood the psychology of applying. I knew that I never doubted a 3.44 GPA. I heard that a lot as well. You only have a 3.4. How are you gonna get into Duke? I understood that everything that I did looked amazing on my application. I was able to use Division I soccer as a way to show that I know time management, because I bounced around from weightlifting to practice to games to nursing school to clinicals. to video to film. I was able to draw that out, honey. Like, I swear, you heard D1 athlete all day long. But that was so that they knew that Aisha, Big Isha is what I went by back in the day, could handle whatever CRNA school threw at me. And that for once I was able to just go to school. I think I said that in my interview. I was able to just do school and nothing else. And so by the time I left and by the time someone read my personal statement, I know that they were like, okay, she's confident. I want to see her in person, or I want to see her and bring her as part of the team. Because guess what? A soccer team is a team. So I just blended all of that in. And it doesn't have to be Division I sports. You can do that with anything that you do. But you just need to touch on, again, what makes you good as part of a team. What are some ways that you furthered your knowledge as an ICU nurse? I'm a new grad, 9 months into ICU, and I feel like I need to expand my knowledge before applying to CRNA school. Okay, so who told you that you need to expand your knowledge? I mean, I love people wanting to grow and learn more. Absolutely, continue to do that. But a 10-year nurse in an ICU